Everybody, Jay and Manion here at the MPC Photo Gym, and here for the very first time, it's IFBB Pro League Wellness competitor,
Jasmine Payne.
Or as we say, Jasmine bringing the pain.
AKA Quadzilla.
So Quadzilla was kind of slimmed down today.
Yeah, Quadzilla's had to size down. Quadzilla might have to be Glutezilla.
Well, it goes with wellness.
Yeah, we'll take it. It's a nice balance, you know. So.
Okay, so the first question is how did you get those quads?
So all my life I've played softball. Ever since I was 6 years old. My parents have bred me to be a D1 athlete. I've played catcher for the most part and third base. So all my life I've been pretty much in a squat position. No one wants to see me with wall sits. I can hold a wall sit probably for like 15, 20 minutes straight. So pretty much shuffles, squatting all my life. Softball did it for me.
All right. So how did you get into weight training?
So whenever, growing up, I already had the routine of eat, sleep, train, repeat. By the time I got in high school, I had brothers, younger brother, 3 years younger than me, that was playing football. An older brother that's 9 years older than me. And we grew up in a very competitive household. Like my dad, we would watch TV and the show would go on commercial and he'd say, okay, let's see who can do the most push-ups before the show would come back on. And the competitive side always got me going.
So how mad were your brothers when you beat them a few times?
They were always very mad. And of course, I always rubbed it in, smiled and laughed in their face. But I've always been extremely competitive. And when I started weightlifting my freshman year of high school, I was stronger than all of my teammates. I was always pocket-sized, but always packed a whole lot of power. And so it put me ahead of a lot of my peers, and I loved winning. I loved standing out. And when it comes to weightlifting, it's just been something that's helped me to maintain and keep that balance so that I don't go crazy. Yeah. And so weightlifting has been a huge part of just helping me to cope with anxiety, helping me to recognize how much power I have in controlling my own destiny, and recognizing that you can wake up every single morning and choose yourself, choose your present situation. And it's such a enlightening realization, because then you stop giving your power away to the external world, and you take that control back. And so weightlifting has been able to do that in a holistic sense for me, mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm an extremely empathetic person. And weightlifting gives me the opportunity to shut out all the outside noise, to specifically focus on centering myself. And so weightlifting has literally been a safe haven for me and everything that I do. In addition to weightlifting, I also do yoga, because I recognize the benefit in balancing that rah-rah energy you get from being in the gym and having all those guys like flex on you, and then giving yourself that nourishing side, making sure that you're putting time into the recovery and the being nice to your body, the other part of training. And so yoga also has been able to help me to balance those things. But weightlifting is definitely keeping my head level.
Okay, so you start weight training, you were doing softball, that all ends. Was that what gave you the idea to get into a competition?
Yes. And so because I already had the routine of eat, sleep, train, repeat, when I graduated college, I felt like a nobody. All I've known ever since I was 6 was softball. And so I didn't have anything to train towards. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with my time? I was still spending 3 hours in the gym every single day with no specific goal. And with me being the type of person I am, I need specific goals to shoot for to keep me in alignment. And one day I was at the gym, and I've always gotten compliments on my legs. But growing up, my quads were always extremely dominant. I didn't have the hamstring and glutes that brought everything together. And so I was in the gym, and this guy came up to me and was like, man, you have some of the best legs I've ever seen. And I was like, I've heard that before. I might have heard that a couple of times. And I was introduced to Coach B at the gym. And one thing about me, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to be the best at it. I never grew up a participation trophy type of person. Like, I'm just here to have fun. Like, we're going to do it to win. Yeah. And so whenever I started to go into bodybuilding, I wanted the best coach in my area. And that's when I was introduced to Coach B. And literally me being in the gym every single day turned into me being in the gym every single day with purpose. You give me purpose and I take off. And that's what happened.
Okay. And do you remember what was the first contest you entered?
The first contest I entered was Maryland East Coast Classics. That was June 2021. Yes, and I won everything. I was walking to the car like clink, 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 clink. And then after that, I did North American September.
So did you automatically go right into wellness?
Yes, sir. Yep. Growing up, or when after I graduated school, a friend of mine, he's actually IFBB Pro now as well. We were always talking about bodybuilding and that next phase of health and wellness. But at the time, wellness wasn't in the States. And so all I could think was, I don't want to get any bigger up top. Already look like I'm about to bully a boy out of his phone number. Like, I can't afford any more shoulders, man. And I knew bikini was not in my cards. Like, come on, look at these wheels. There's no way in hell. So I was like, okay. So, like, at the time, I wanted to bodybuild, but there wasn't a space for me. And so whenever I graduated and I moved up here, that was around 2015, 2016, wellness still hadn't made its way. So I still kind of maintained my routine. So by the time wellness came, I was like, oh, snap. Like, this is a category for me. And right into it. And I think that's what helped me to understand that I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Because once I got into the wellness category, things just took off, and they took off so fast, JM. Things just started to unfold and happen so quick that I really didn't have time to enjoy the progression of everything that was happening, because I was like, oh snap, like, I won this show, like, oh snap, I'm a pro, like, oh snap, I won this show, like, oh snap, okay, like, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And so I'm right into wellness, and it's literally just been like take off ever since.
Yeah, so 2020 is when we started wellness, and it worked out just perfectly for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that COVID year, I had an opportunity to just kind of like settle down. And then once I saw that wellness was in, I was like, okay, the world's waking up now, and they're recognizing their legs are in.
Well, the thing I've always said, and I've said this numerous times, I would say that the amount of, especially the IFBB Pro League wellness competitors, 90% of them were athletes their entire lives growing up at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I've actually seen a lot of your interviews that a lot of the wellness girls actually have history in soccer or softball. And I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense. Leg goals. A lot of kicking, a lot of squatting, and just putting all that heavy loaded in the bottom half. It seems to work for us.
Yeah, the first thing I ask is usually, what sport did you play?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, did you play a sport?
Me? Yeah, but I wasn't anything that was.
All right. But yeah, all my life, and I still miss softball. Like to this day, I've thought about coaching. But I actually tried to play recreational softball when I first moved up to DC. And I was in a co-ed slow pitch league playing with people that are older than me. And I tagged this lady in the chest and the chin. She's probably like 55. And the umpire gave me a hard time for it, man. I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm fresh out of college. I still got that competitive in me. And so I realized like maybe I should take a step back until a little bit of that softball diva dies inside of me a little bit more, because you can't tag older ladies in the chest like that on a Sunday morning softball game. It's not a good look.
I just have this visual. I'm sorry.
She was not happy at all. Like I hit her with the, and I held it up, and umpire was like, dude,
It's not that serious.
It was like the first out of the game. He was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm winning. I don't know about you, but did you see that throw from the center field? Like, I'm winning. Yo, I'm competitive at everything. Yeah. If you had a cup of water right now and I had a cup of water, I would try to beat you getting to the bottom of that cup. It's just in me. Even if you don't know we're in competition, I'll be like, yeah, I'm definitely going to beat you. So, shout out to my parents for planting that seed of competitiveness in me.
Okay, so what was your first pro wellness contest?
My first pro wellness contest was San Antonio Pro, September 2021. Yep. September 2021. And that was right after North America. And I wanted to get out there to see.
It was in that old theater.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah, nice. I wanted to see where I stood up.
I knew the answer, but they don't want to hear me reciting your history. So.
Yeah. I want to see where I stood, next to the pros. And that show, I didn't do my best, but we got exactly what we were looking to get from it, which was feedback. Because at the end of the day, it's either a win or a lesson. And that situation gave me the opportunity to learn I need more glutes. Like, if I'm going to compete at this pro level, I need hamstrings.
Especially because Isa Pereira won that show from Brazil.
Yeah, and she had glutes. I remember standing in line and Coach B had the phone, and he was like,
PA and PE, right there, right?
Yes. He was taking the phone, recording me, and I was like, no, don't show anybody else. Just get me pumping up. I don't want them to see anybody else. But that was my first pro competition.
See how I remember all that?
Yeah, man, you locked in. How do you remember all these things?
I don't know. I'm weirdo only child. I don't know.
You got a nice little library of memories up there. I love it. And then after that, it was Pittsburgh, 2022. Yep.
Yeah, the Pittsburgh, actually the first Pittsburgh Pro Wellness was actually the first truly international IFBB Pro Wellness contest, because most of the contests, like, they were either you're all from America, or they didn't remember it was all Brazilian, or it was somewhere in Europe. This was the first one that had competitors from all over the world. Yeah, I worked hard to get those 31 competitors in that show. 31 we had that first time.
Goodness gracious. And I just remember seeing the ladies lined up on the diagonal, and I was like, I hope that they can see me. Like, oh, there's so many ladies back here. Yeah. It was such an amazing show, such an amazing opportunity. And one thing about Pittsburgh is that it always holds a dear place in my heart. It's where I turned pro. It's where Coach B turned pro. And it's really where I got my name. And so I love just how prestigious, just walking into that arena feels. It's like, that if you're at this show, you're that person, Yeah.
Something more interesting about that very first Pittsburgh Pro Wellness, of the 31 competitors, 11 of them ended up in the Olympia that year.
Oh, nice. That's a pretty good
1/3
percentage. Look, I'm not good at math, but that's a pretty good percentage. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That just goes to show you the amount of exposure, the connections, and just the overall, like, the prestige nature of just being on that stage. You get an opportunity to get in front of the biggest judges that are judging the biggest shows. And if it is your goal to make it to the biggest shows, then why not put yourself in the situation to where you are in front of those judges? Because they're going to be the ones that are going to be looking at you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I knew that that's exactly where I need to be. And I always tell my coach, like, I don't duck any rec at all. I'm not afraid to go against anybody at all, because only a couple people are going to continue to beat me.
Yeah, so as a reference, today is the actual first day that the MPC and IFBB Pro League office are working out of this building now. And, we've got everybody moved in. So Jasmine was able to take a sneak peek at who's on the Pittsburgh Pro Wellness.
Yes.
You saw a couple names and you got really excited. And these girls were Olympia placers.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm really excited to go against Giselle again. One thing about Giselle, she's my homegirl, and she is the only competitor that I've gone against more than once who has beat me more than once. And so her heart is so pure. She's such an amazing person. So I'm excited to just be in the same arena with her, be on the same stage with her, and just see where I fall in line. These are top five Olympians that are going to be, at the show. And so this is a really good opportunity for me to see where I am physically and where I stand against the best of the best.
Well, I noticed from whenever I saw you in Charlotte, you've made a lot of modifications to your body. And they were always telling you, you were way too big down below. And now you've kind of got things where they're supposed to be.
Yeah. We've had to figure out how to size down, if you will.
Some tweaks to the posing.
Yes, absolutely. Not showing as much thickness and fullness in these amazing legs that my mama blessed me with. Just trying to highlight all of my strong suits and hide my stronger suits. And so we've definitely gone back to the drawing board, taking all of the feedback literally from the beginning of time until 2 weeks ago, and making sure that we're just applying everything. One thing about me is I'm very coachable, extremely coachable. I love feedback, especially constructive feedback, because it gives me the opportunity to grow. And one thing about Tyler is he's always given me constructive feedback that me and Coach B can use when we get back into the lab. And whenever we stepped off stage in Charlotte, we found him. And as soon as we got back to the room, we started posing. And seeing the differences, it's like a light bulb. It's like, oh.
Well, he noticed immediately when you were posing.
Yeah. Yes. And it felt so good, JM. Oh, my God. For him to be like, just 2 weeks, I've noticed. And I was like, oh, thank God. So I'm really excited that both him and Adelaia have noticed, all of the hard work and effort that I've been putting in to just make sure that I'm fine-tuning my craft. Because one thing about it is I want to make sure that I end up and stay on top. And so in order to do that, I need to recognize, what it is that they're looking for. Right. And so I love it.
Yeah, well, I think you've grasped it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. So is there anyone you want to give a shout out to while we're here?
Yes. I would like to shout out my home gym, Gold's Gym, Ritchie Station, Capitol Heights, Maryland, exit 13. For every single one of you guys in there, thank you for keeping me going. Team GTF, Game Time Fitness, my squad. On the days that I don't feel like doing it, you guys are the reason that I continue to wake up and do it. All of my baby Zillas out there, my posing clients, my wellness women, you guys are the reason that I continue to show up on this platform and continue to flex so that all of us could have the opportunities to continue to grow and continue to glow. I want to give a huge shout out to Coach B. I want to give a huge shout out to you for everything that you've poured into me, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and my overall growth. My chiropractor, Dr. Damon, thank you for popping me like a glow stick and keeping me all put together. My StretchWorks practitioner, Jeffrey Stevens, thank you so much for working out these knots and keeping my body tip-top shape. Thank you to everybody who's just been in support of my growth, everyone who continues to pour into me on a regular basis. I'm extremely grateful, extremely happy, and I just want to make sure that I continue to make you guys proud. Shout out to my sponsors, Black Ice Bikini and AE Fit Apparel, and that's pretty much it. Yep.
Well, thank you for finally coming. We've been talking about this for about 3 years.
Yeah. I like to make the people wait a little bit, make it all worth their while. Was it worth your while?
It's the right time now.
Absolutely. Oh, yes. No better time than now.
Yeah.
No better time than now. Time's ticking, baby.
Right.
Time's ticking. I tell you, like the countdown on my phone, it's definitely running down.
She has it down to the seconds, trust me.
Yes. We are looking forward to it. We're almost there, too. We're almost there. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm glad you came.
Absolutely.
All right. So if you want to see Jasmine bring the pain to the IFBB Pittsburgh Pro Wellness, Friday night, May 10th, be there. That's where you're going to see it. If you want to come to the day for the prejudging, you'll see that, and then you'll see the finals that night. But it's going to be a pretty exciting show because, like I said, from what I saw last week to this week, we've doubled our numbers in the Pro Wellness right now. So I'm pretty excited by the people I saw in there. I even told you I didn't even know they were on there.
Yep, we have 3 more added to the list. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they're Olympians.
Let's get ready to rumble. Let's do it. We got it. They have until what, next Monday?
This Monday.
This Monday coming up. Yep. So I'll be checking in on that list.
Yeah.
See how extensive it gets by next week.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be good.
All right.
One thing about it is my name is on there for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, all right. So Jay and Manion.
Jasmine Payne.
We look forward to seeing you at the Pittsburgh Pro.